This psalm is a prayer of trust, reflection, and supplication to God in times of persecution and distress. It begins with a fervent declaration of trust in God, expressing a plea for deliverance from those who seek to harm and persecute the speaker. The imagery employed here is powerful and stark. The psalmist likens the threat to being torn apart like a prey by a lion, an overwhelming force that leaves no hope of rescue without divine intervention. The psalmist moves into a reflective confession, displaying humility and self-examination before God. He acknowledges the possibility of wrongdoing on his part, and if any iniquity or moral evil is found in his deeds, particularly concerning those he once considered friends or neutral parties, he accepts the consequences of such actions. This admission underscores a profound faith and honesty, inviting God to judge him fairly. The speaker is not asking for free exoneration, but for justice in truth, illustrating the integrity ingrained in this spiritual request. Following this introspection, there is a passionate call to God to rise in response to the wrath of the enemies. The psalmist seeks divine judgment, an awakening of God's righteous face against evil. He implores God to act for the sake of the community, indicating the collective concern beyond personal safety. This petition elevates the situation from personal grievance to a more communal cause, as an appeal for divine governance and sustaining moral order. The mention of divine judgment for people forms the core of the psalm, where the speaker expresses his desire to be judged according to his own righteousness and integrity. Here, righteousness is not self-righteousness, but instead a life aligned with divine principles, a life underpinned by honesty, fairness, and divine wisdom. The speaker yearns not only for personal vindication, but for an end to wickedness altogether, seeking the establishment of justice by a God who knows the deepest secrets of the heart, who tests the mind and emotions of humans. In this grand judgment, God is portrayed as the ultimate protector of those sincere in heart. He is the defense mechanism against corruption and malevolence. The assertion that God is displeased with the wicked every day conveys the divine disposition towards continuous evil, emphasizing that wickedness is neither overlooked nor tolerated. The psalm then describes God's preparation of instruments of justice for the wicked who refuse to turn away from their iniquity. This vivid imagery of God sharpening a sword and bending a bow intimates impending justice, a premeditated and righteous response to persistent evil. God is depicted preparing the instruments of death, metaphorically speaking, as expressions of divine judgment, not as impulsive vengeance, but as planned and righteous deterrence against oppression. Those who plot iniquity, who give birth to schemes of falsehood and destruction, are seen to fall into their own traps. This portrays the concept of poetic justice, where evil returns upon those who intentionally create it, trapping them by their own machinations. In stating that he made a pit and is fallen into the ditch which he made, there is a swirling, inevitable comeuppance for those who engage in deceitful and violent conduct. Their malicious intentions are their undoing, a strong theological assertion about the self-destructiveness of evil. The psalm concludes with a declaration of praise to God for his righteousness. This marks a return to the theme of trust and worship, culminating in the psalmist's commitment to extol the virtues and justice of God. The name, Most High, underscores the grandeur and supreme authority of God, reflecting the psalmist's reverent acknowledgement of God's ultimate role as overseer and adjudicator of cosmic and moral justice. Overall, this psalm navigates profound themes of trust, accountability, divine justice, and praise. It places the individual within a broader context of moral order, orchestrated by a righteous God who not only listens and responds, but is an active participant in the order and correction of human affairs. It is a blend of personal lament, moral petitioning, and theological assurance, exemplifying a heartfelt communion and covenant between the believer and the divine.